Kevin Durant is a Houston Rocket. Let that sink in. One of the greatest scorers in NBA history just got shipped to one of the league's youngest, most unpredictable teams, without the Rockets giving up any of their top future assets. And if you're thinking, wait, what? You're not alone. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not like this. Not now. Right as fans were gearing up for Game 7 of the conference finals, this blockbuster dropped like a thunderbolt. A franchise-altering move executed while everyone's eyes were somewhere else. But what really happened behind the scenes? Why did Phoenix settle for so little? And what does this mean for Durant, the Rockets, and a Suns franchise that may have just hit rock bottom? The deal itself is almost unbelievable when you break it down. The Rockets landed Kevin Durant by sending out Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the 10th pick in this year's draft, and 5 second-round picks. Some of those picks won't even convey until 2030 or 2032. And one of them, dead last in this year's draft. But what's even more wild is what they didn't give up. Amen Thompson is still on the roster. Jabari Smith Jr. is also on the roster. Tari Eason, still on the roster as well. Even Cam Whitmore is staying on the Rockets. Houston pulled off the kind of trade that only happens in 2K simulations, where you land a first-ballot Hall of Famer and somehow keep your entire core intact. This wasn't just a win, it was daylight robbery. Now, let's flip the script. Just 3 years ago, the Phoenix Suns were in the NBA Finals, a feel-good underdog story loaded with homegrown talent, a savvy vet in Chris Paul, and a rising superstar in Devin Booker. They were this close to a title. Fast forward to today, and that entire roster is gone, traded away piece by piece in a desperate chase for a championship window that slammed shut before it ever opened. They gave up Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Chris Paul, first-round picks, second-round picks, and what's left? Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and whoever they draft at number 10. That's it. This wasn't just a bad trade. It was the final unraveling of a long list of panic moves, each one a little more desperate than the last. And for Suns fans, it's not just disappointing, it's devastating. Devin Booker is now staring into the abyss. Once the face of a promising rebuild, he's now a 28-year-old star stuck on a team with no identity, no plan, and no help. Think about it. Booker spent the first 5 years of his career in complete obscurity. The Suns were winning 19, 21, 24 games a year. Then came the bubble run, the Chris Paul trade, and the finals push. For a brief moment, it all clicked. He was 24 and the future looked bright. But now, he's nearly 29, entering his prime, and the Suns are back in purgatory. There's no supporting cast, no future picks, no cap flexibility, just chaos. And if a report breaks tomorrow that Booker's considering other options, no one should be surprised. Frankly, he deserves better. Now here's the big question. Was Kevin Durant still worth this kind of gamble? Statistically, absolutely. He averaged 26 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists on nearly 50-40-85 shooting splits last season. Those are elite numbers. But there's another side to this. Durant is now 37 years old. He played 62 games last season. Not awful, but far from dependable. And when he didn't play, the Suns went 3-17. That's not a typo. With him, they were barely above 500. Without him, bottom of the league bad. And his defense, which showed flashes early in the season, faded fast. He's not the same help-side rim protector he used to be. At this point, he's more of a complementary piece than a carry-the-franchise superstar. But still, he's Kevin Durant. He bends defenses, demands attention, and elevates everyone around him. For Houston, the upside is clear. The risk, surprisingly low. Let's talk about the Rockets. Last season, they were already turning heads. Young, fast, defensive-minded, and hungry. They had moments where you could see it. This team is coming. Now they add Kevin Durant. That changes everything. Suddenly, you've got a proven playoff scorer next to Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, Cam Whitmore, and Alperen Sengun. You've got gravity, spacing, and a guy who demands double teams. And you didn't even have to give up your timeline to get him. Think about it. If this doesn't work, fine, you still have your core. You still have Phoenix's future picks. You still have flexibility. This is one of the rare trades where even the downside still leaves you in a good place. That's how you build a contender. Meanwhile, the Suns are spiraling. They're still paying Bradley Beal, who has a no-trade clause, by the way, and who they may now have to offload for pennies on the dollar. Their defense was ranked 28th last season. And their center is still to be determined. And their future draft capital is basically gone. This is what happens when ownership panics. Matt Ishbia came in swinging, looking to make headlines. Instead, he gutted a finals team, burned through their assets, and now may be stuck rebuilding from scratch. Reports say he's surrounding himself with yes men and Michigan State buddies. That's not how you win in the NBA. That's how you bury a franchise, especially in this NBA landscape, considering that the game has changed by so much. With Durant now in Houston, the Western Conference just got a whole lot messier. The Rockets were already a tough out. Now, they might be a top 4 seed. The Warriors are aging, the Lakers are unstable, the Clippers are always one injury away from disaster, and the Suns are now out of the picture. This opens the door for a new power shift. Watch out for Houston. Watch out for Amen Thompson, who's already showing signs of becoming a two-way terror. Watch out for Cam Whitmore, who might finally break out now that the wing logjam has cleared. And most of all, watch what Durant still has left in the tank. Because whether this is his redemption arc or his farewell tour, he's going out swinging. Kevin Durant is now a Houston Rocket. And somehow, some way, it actually makes sense. The Suns are done. Their era is over. Devin Booker's window may have closed before it ever truly opened, but for the Rockets, this is just the beginning. They pulled off the impossible, acquiring a superstar without mortgaging their future. And now they've got one of the league's best cores and one of the greatest players of this generation. Will it work? Nobody knows. But one thing's for sure, this just changed the entire NBA.